Hey. It's Twoc Talk Thursdays. 3 minutes late, but we here. Because we wasn't going to be no 5 minutes late. That was not happening. How's everyone doing? Hey. Hello, everybody. Come on in the room. And so I will not be here alone today. My ED is going to be with here with me once again. Yes, she is. How's everyone doing? Yes, we're gonna give. I let it down. We're gonna be on the same height. I let my chair down. See. Hey everybody. Yes, I have my ED with me here today, right? And so I feel like what has to happen is it works better when there's two of us, right? So of course I do a good job by myself.
But lighting. Wait.
Oh, it's something wrong with the lighting. The lighting is
long. It's a little too blue. A little alabaster, eh?
Hello. Just gonna give you guys a few more minutes to get in the room. Let's see, what's that doing? No,
we gotta fix the lighting in the studio, y'all. So I look a little morbid.
So we can fix that. Mm-hmm. I got it. There we go. Put that there. Hey. Oh, wait. We got one person here. Hey, how you doing? How are you doing? I don't know who you are. Tell me your name so I can say hello, so I can shout you out. Thank you for being here. I do. We do. Thank you for being here. Is it right here? Oh, no. We don't have nothing for that. No, nothing for that, ma'am. Let's see if we can change it though. Maybe that's better. I brought it down. How's that? What? Hey, everybody. Oh wait, it's 3 people here now. Hey, let me know who you are. Talk to me. Bye.
Oh, somebody thing on it. That's why.
Talk to me, people. How are you all doing today? I'm gonna make sure they're live. We here to talk to you. Hey, come on in, people. Come in the room. Oh wait, now she done gave us a little light. Is that better for you? Oh, you see it? You see it? Is that better for you? We have, who's this? There we go. You see it? You see it? That's Tangela Smith. Hi, Tangela. How are you? You want to turn this a little bit? That's better? Okay. Hey, Tangela, how are you? Welcome. So we are here. It's Twoc Talk Thursdays with your girl, Raquel. And that's Toy, Mrs. Reynolds.
Hello, everyone.
How are you all doing? Thank you all for being here. Oh, you saw it. Thank you all.
Is everything okay, Dan?
Thank you all for being here. And welcome to Twoc Talk Thursdays. And so we are here, of course, to talk to you, to give you some information, to give you some insights.
It's a whole lot to talk about, right?
It is. There's a whole lot going on in the news.
So, before we get into that, we always like to start with doing an update or a shout out. So, if there's an update that you want to share, a recap of your week.
Okay.
And a shout out to somebody.
Hey, so how about this? So the update I want to give, like on last week, we had our mixer at Mix Atlanta, and it was amazing. We had a great time. We had karaoke, we had food, we had entertainment. Right,
we had something for the children.
We did a little piece.
Oh my God!
We had got a little piece. We had got a little 1-2 in there. We did, and so that was wonderful. But on yesterday, we had our bubble release, and for those of you who don't know, right, we put in to be able to be in the park right here in Tyrone where we are, and We wanted
shout
to
out to the city of Tyrone.
Shout out to the city
and all
of
the
Tyrone.
evangelicals that's here, right?
Yeah, in their little town. That's an inside. However, so we had our event yesterday, and it was Healing Through the Highways presents Healing Through the Highways presents
sexual assault.
Healing Through the Highways presents Healing Through Sexual Assault, survivors of sexual assault. And so we had a great event, and we got to meet some of the locals here that we had not met, that did not know who we were, and now they know we are here. And we are here to be of assistance. We're here to be of aid. We are here to just bring a place of care. We were here to bring. We are here as a place of care
and to build an ecosystem of love and affirmation, acceptance, and equity. We fight for equality, but that's not why we're here. We don't want equal. We want equity, right? It's hard to build equality without building equity. Equity is that piece that says, I see you, you matter to me, you value to me.
Okay.
Not just welcoming us into a space, but giving us the tools that we need to strive and to be successful while we're here. That's what that equity piece do. So that's what we fight for in community, fighting for equity.
Absolutely. Fight for equity, equality. Fighting for equality, that we are all treated equally. Right. And just to get back, because she asked me to do a shout out, right? So some shout outs to the people who helped us with our mixer on last week, Wednesday. Thank you, Takira. We see you are here. Hey, Pumpkin, we love you. Thank you, Takira. Thank you, Samaria. And thank you, Cameron. We want to give a shout out to Cameron.
And happy birthday, Cam.
Happy birthday. Listen, and Cameron wrote amazing pieces for us. Oh my God, the piece that the piece that Cameron wrote for us on last week was amazing. But Cameron wrote a piece for us on yesterday as well. And I believe I have that piece here. And I want to read that piece.
And while she's finding that, I would like to give a shout out to Game Changing Men for always supporting the work that we're doing. Tony Michelle and Snap for Freedom. Snap one of our partners in community, A Vision for Hope. So those people have been really instrumental and supportive of the work that we're doing here at the Healing Project in various capacities. So shout out.
Yes, absolutely. Shout out. And so listen, here is what Cameron wrote for us for our event on yesterday, Survivors of Sexual Assault. It's called For All Those Times. For all those times you stripped away my layers, making me taste forbidden fruit. For all those times I was penetrated beyond boundaries, finally accepting a shameful truth. For all those times I suffered provisions of injustice, sometimes with the restraint of fear. For all those times I was barricaded with mental anguish, wondering, how did I get here? For all those times I didn't scream, kept silent, and never fought back. For all those times you assaulted my heart with your physical and verbal attacks. For all those times that I am haunted daily with hurt completely silencing me. For all those times I wanted to be heard when death seemed the only way to be free. But wait. For all those times when I said, dear God, please give me strength. For all those times I found my voice through the strength of my ancestors' scent. For all those times when I knew I could fight with the strength of 1,000 men. For all those times I challenged myself, just wondering if I could win. For all those times when surviving seemed far-fetched and the sadness began to fade. For all those times it was fight or flight, and a decision had to be made. I survived the storm that was meant for defeat, to mute my voice to no sound. That was the time I didn't fall prey, but the time I adjusted my crown. I survived, you survived, we survived. Thank you, Cameron Larkin,
Ashe.
and happy birthday.
Ashe.
Ashe.
So, yeah,
Survived.
survive.
Takira did a song and said, I made it.
So as we're talking about survive,
Yes.
it's important that we talk about why it's important that Word Survive exists right now and why it means so much more for us. We as a community, we're under constant attacks.
Yes.
From community, from legislature, from people that's put in place to provide services and to protect. We're realizing now that those infrastructures are constantly waging war against us in our existence. And it's our job at the Healing Project to do whatever we have to do to combat the erasure of our lives, our narratives, and our contributions to society. So you had brought up a very important topic that you wanted to address.
Yes, and that topic that I wanted to talk about, yes, I have that. That's here. I have that here. Yes, we're going to use that as well.
Ooh.
So the trans.
We're back at it, y'all. We're back at it, y'all.
So I wanted to talk about our transgender youth and how their parents are having to take them to different states for health care.
To receive services.
To be taken care of. To be seen by a doctor. They got to go to different states in order to do that. And the sad piece for me is, why can't you take your child to the doctors in the state that you live in?
Well, the bigger issue is that it's telling parents that you no longer have the rights and the say-so and autonomy to make the decisions that you need to make for your family.
Yeah, it's sad. And when did it become okay for somebody to tell a mother or a father how to or how not to raise their child? What decisions to or not to make for their child? I believe that the Creator thought enough of our parents to allow us to come through our mothers, right? That they have the right to decide what's best for us. And I believe that it's per household. I don't believe that everybody has the same way of raising or the same beliefs, but I think that I feel like all parents should be able to raise their children or their child the way that they see fit.
They should.
Yeah. And people having opinions about that, saying that it should be this way or shouldn't be that way, I don't believe that you get to have that authority. And that brings me to the point about us voting, because if we don't get out and vote and put the proper people in office, then those who are in office continue to believe that they have the authority to tell us what to do in our household.
And what I realized, Raquel, is that the bigger issue is the messaging.
Yeah.
The bigger issue is the messaging. We are victims of mixed messaging and lost messaging as we navigate through society as Black folk. All of the many intersections that we navigate through: Blackness, queerness, transness, cisness. But that one piece that's commonality is that Black piece. And that's the messaging that we don't feel represented and a part of. And the messaging that they're used to inflict this horror, as I call it, upon TGNC community members, primarily our youth, as we're speaking of. In this instance, is they're using this tool that's saying that we're advocating for surgeries for our youth. I don't know a child that has had a surgery, SRS surgery, or any type of gender reassignment surgery. Now, what they are receiving are blockers, testosterone blockers, and hormone blockers, and things of that nature. But they're not receiving surgeries.
Right.
But that's, if you look at all of these different legislations that's out, that's combating or trying to making an attempt to halt our transitional journeys within the youth, they're using the word surgeries. And that's not true.
Right, because that's
surgery does not take place.
Yeah. Parents are just making decisions to help their children transition and growth as they're growing.
So they can make that decision for themselves.
Yes.
But in the process of you making that decisions, I don't want you to be able to be forced. And so they're doing the puberty blockers. So when that child does get of age and they decide that that's not what I want to do, you can come off of the blockers. Yes. But 9 times out of 10, it's not a common occurrence that very, very few folks transition and then the transition, right? I mean, there are cases of that. Let's be honest, and we're speaking from a stats level, right? Because this is what we do at the organization.
Yes, absolutely.
We want to make sure that we're providing the correct
Information,
information
yes,
and the
and
messaging
facts.
is correct and
Yes.
facts. So there is a members of community that decide to transition and detransition, but that's not a large number. So that thing that they're reaching for, they're chasing pigments, they're chasing ghosts.
Yeah, because they
And they're
need something to be
using
able
that
to use.
sexual
Yes.
word, their term to make it something that's cringeworthy for other adults. That's that. What's the word I'm looking for? That's that dog whistle that they're using to parents. Any parent that have a child, we hear about what's going on with kids, but when we say someone is forcing a child to have a surgery, that's the dog whistle that makes other parents get involved. So only thing to hear now is that word surgery,
right?
Which never takes place.
Because that's actually the vehicle they use.
Yeah.
The vehicle they use to get
whistle.
that car driving. And I heard what you said, Teresa Thatcher, and I know that, Thacker, I know that you love children. And yes, we do. We have to protect and love our youth. It's what we've got to do. And so we as adults, the way that we do that is we've got to get out and vote.
And you said Teresa's there.
Yes.
Congratulations for being the first female elder that's a part of the UP overseer. Oh my God. Congratulations, Teresa. I love you.
Excellent. Congratulations.
Overseer, honey.
We love you, Overseer. Congratulations.
I see Bogey on there too, Terry.
Yes, Terry is here.
Hey, Terry.
Hey, man of God.
Jasmine, you made it again.
Hey, Jasmine. Hi, Alexis. How are you, love? Good. Thank you for being here.
Sister.
Yep. And Miss Pocahontas is here. Hey, baby.
Robin,
how are you?
hey, sister.
Sean, hey, King. Sean is here.
Oh, Sean. Hey,
Sean
brother.
Yes, yes. Oh, God. Thank you guys for being here. Mr. Hey, DeRay. We love DeRay Saunders.
My sister.
I love you, girl. DeRay is here.
and we're trying to make this pivot before we get into this very
it's heavy.
This heavy topic, right? It's filled with facts and it's also filled with some opinions, but yeah.
And it's everywhere. And you all know what we're talking about. We're talking about this brawl in Montgomery, Alabama. And so, so when I Googled it about
for those of you that's not aware, there was an incident that took place, and we're not going to give you our words. We're going to give you the words that came from AP, Associated Press.
Absolutely. A brawl on Montgomery, Alabama riverfront dock Saturday has gained nationwide attention in the days since, with multiple angles of incident caught on video gaining views across social media in raw and even memes formats. With more eyes on the situation came more questions, like whether the disagreement was sparked as a racial dispute and how so many people became involved within minutes. Local authorities tried to answer many of those questions Tuesday during a press release, and here's what we know. So we need to know, like, what actually happened. How did this take place? Well, there are multiple events taking place at the riverfront. There were multiple events taking place at the riverfront on August 5th evening, according to the Montgomery Police Chief, Darrell Albert. The area is a popular summertime attraction spot, complete with an amphitheater, stadium, park, and, of course, the riverboat. Yeah. That Saturday, there were 227 passengers on the Harriet II riverboat, which takes rides on a 2-hour Alabama River tour beginning and ending at the designated docking space along the river. When the vessel attempted to return to the dock that evening, a private boat was occupying its space, according to Albert. The Harriet's co-captain, Damian Pickett, attempted to contact the boat's owner via the river's PA system for 40 to 45 minutes, but the boat owners only responded with obscene gestures and curse words, and he was taunting him. A separate boat, which operated independently in the river, then brought Pickett to the dock peacefully, furthering
So they put the security officer in their boat.
Yes, there was another person on the other side, right, who put the security officer, Harriet's co-captain Damian Pickett. They put Mr. Pickett in their boat and took them over to where they were docked at, where they were giving him, they were obscene gestures and cussing at him and taunting him. Now, mind you, this man is just doing his job. A black man. Let's be clear. A black man. It says a separate boat with operated independently in the river, then brought Pickett to the dock to peacefully further conversation about moving the boat to allow the riverboat to park. Then, when multiple members of the private boat began to attack Pickett, the people who were in the private boat who did not want to move, they jumped out of the boat and began to attack Pickett, followed by multiple members of the Harriet's crew joining in with Pickett to defend him. At 7 p.m., the first call of disturbance came from the riverboat's captain, who was calm because he was just, telling them they need to move. So he was calm at that time. And he wasn't in distress. Albert said because of his demeanor, police weren't dispatched until further calls came. They first arrived 18 minutes later. Then it says authorities then detained 13 individuals and brought them to the police headquarters to conduct interviews, which lasted several hours. After that, all parties were let go pending further investigation, but police had said incoming charges were likely. Pickett was the only person involved who went to the local hospital for treatment following the brawl, according to Albert.
So, okay. So this is a lot, right? Yeah. So what they're not saying and how this event is correlated to the climate that we're living in right now. A lot of you, if you may not know, Donald Trump had a rally that Friday.
I didn't know.
Downtown Montgomery, He had a rally, and that was once again a cry for help, and that was the dog whistle. So it emboldened and empowered that thing that we saw today.
So that was in the atmosphere already.
That was in the atmosphere. If any of you know anything about the South, Mobile, Louisiana, Alabama, Florida, Texas, Louisiana, it's still it's the Jim Crow South. A lot of the decisions that's made for us in our existence are made by our politicians and lawmakers that are Caucasian, right?
Right.
And what's happening now is that we're seeing states that has never been able to be represented in the polls and show up, in states that has been historically red are now turning blue. And prior to this particular incident, there was an incident that was taking place. There was a vote that took place in Alabama where it was now questioning, will the state of Alabama, gerrymandering, will they break off to make sure that the black votes be swallowed by the larger white counties? Because at the end of the day, Birmingham, yes, that small area is black, but once you get outside of Birmingham, it's Caucasian.
Right.
It's primarily white, Confederate. So, yes. And what they were trying to do is they was trying to lose those numbers and mix those numbers within the black communities by breaking them up, breaking up and disrupting the voters' districts. So it would be no chance of the state of Alabama ever turning blue. It failed on the court level, but the Governor Kay Ivey, came back and said that the people agreed to pass it. So they went forward, even though it was failed. There was a failed attempt on a state level. So Governor Kay Ivey said, well, no, we felt the need to move forward with this. And so now it has to be taken to a Supreme Court level. And I said all that to say is that while we're celebrating, and I've seen some footage and people are making memes and things out of this, I'm excited that we as black folks are aware and we're coming together on one accord, and there is a presence of unity. But I also want that unity to expand outside of that incident.
How about that?
And making sure that we're pouring in and looking into our family members and our skin and kin folks that are in Alabama, because they're going to suffer some wars and some
backlash from this too,
and on a different level. So we as black people, we historically have used our strength. We know that, and they know that we're strong and we show up in numbers and that we use physical strength. But there's a way that they fight. They fight using policy and procedure. And that's how they always
fight
win.
with black and white.
We
on
understand
paper.
our strength. We understand how to win a fist fight, how to win a physical fight. But until we understand the importance of policy and procedure and how our voices can be used as tools to make sure that we're protected and our navigations are safe. I said all that because that Friday, Donald Trump had a rally. And that rally, it was the gasoline. And if you follow politics, you know that he had a rally when he was president in Mobile, Alabama. And that rally is when he had an issue because that was around the time when Colin Kaepernick had the kneel. He started the thing where the athletes would kneel. So he kneeled and it became a thing with some of the other black athletes. And Donald Trump at that time, the then president, said that he feels sorry for those sons of bitches. He wasn't cussing them out. He was cussing their parents out. He was cussing their moms out. He said those sorry sons of a bitches, calling their moms bitches for raising them to have the autonomy, the power, the belief, and the esteem to stand up for yourself.
Crazy.
But yet that's the person that at that time he occupied the seat of presidency of the United States. And it's the same person that just was found guilty on 4 more charges. I think it's a total of 78 charges.
Oh, 78 charges.
78 charges total, if I'm not mistaken. I can be fact checked.
But he's still not locked up, though.
No, he's still able to run, and he's leading the Republican.
78 charges.
But he had a rally that Friday,
which you already know. That's what set the tone.
But they say it wasn't racially motivated.
It had to be. There's no way it can't be. And then look where it happened too.
It wasn't racially motivated. But the people said that they heard the obscenities and the racial slurs.
Did.
Also, so the store owner, some more information came up. The store owners, so the people that was on the boat that initially attacked the security guard, they're store owners, and they own a store in Selma, Alabama, and the store is called Vassary Mini Mart. And
say the name of the store, so we don't support that.
Yeah, they're boycotting them. I'm not going to disclose the location and stuff of the store, but it's Vassary's Mini Mart, and it's in Selma, Alabama. If any of you know anything about Selma, Alabama, we know that there is a level of white privilege and entitlement that exists in Selma, Alabama. What happened in Selma, Alabama that was historic? That's where we had Bloody Sunday. That's when the massacre happened. That's when they attacked the black folk on Edmund Titus Bridge.
On the bridge, yes, absolutely.
Bloody Sunday. That was Selma, Alabama. So these people,
and that's where their store is at. I hope you guys are listening.
But that wasn't racially motivated.
I pray you're listening. Yeah.
That wasn't racially motivated. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah. How could it not have been racially motivated? It all derived from racism. Like, that's where it all derived from. That's where it all came from. And so surely those people who were on the boat, them Caucasian people, they were not going to hear of this black man telling them what to do. Point blank, period. And he was just doing his job. He was just doing his job, and they weren't going to have him telling them what to do over the PA system. And so they say that in order to change that, and again, like Toy was saying, it's about them policy and procedures. That's how they get through. Yeah, we can fight and we can turn it out and so forth and so on, but we've got to learn policy and procedure so we can fight differently.
So as a result, to prevent that from happening, what was their suggestion?
As a result, to prevent that from happening, again, they said that they were going to set up a signing where they got to sign in for them to be a docking in that particular area.
Shouldn't you do that already? I don't know. I haven't heard of a dock where you don't have to pay a fee or have to sign in or leave some information in case they have to contact you for emergency. That's just like your car is parked somewhere. If it's in a loading dock, you have to leave them your personal information so they can contact you, so you can move your car in case of emergency. So you have to sign, and that is a leisure.
Yeah. They said at the time of the brawl, he said there had been no signage due to past ones either being removed or blown away.
Signage. So they're talking about something.
So that signage, so that everybody can see it, not where you actually
But
sign,
what would
but
that
actually
sign
sign.
say?
They said that had been removed or
But what
blown
would
away.
that sign say?
Still, he said that mooring area was well defined and sectioned off, and that those who typically use the river are very familiar with where the larger vessel has to park. He also said every resident, not just kids, needs to become aware of conflict resolution and de-escalation techniques to prevent an incident like this from happening again.
Wow, this is powerful. Do y'all understand what they're saying? Before they say that these people was at fault or was racially motivated, they're going to say the only attraction that's downtown in Montgomery, Alabama, other than the courthouse, if you're going to visit that, who the hell wants to visit that? And there's a few restaurants that's right there dockside. But they're saying before they give liability to this racist couple, this racist family, that they're going to say the boat is responsible for not parking where it needed to be. And that was not an appropriate place for the boat to park.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And because the sign blew away or somebody moved it. So now that sign becomes important. That sign wasn't important before this happened.
You see what happens, policy and procedure? You see? That's why it's important that we vote. We use our voices to vote. It is real simple, people, to get the work that we need done, but we have to vote. We've been constantly told as Black and brown folks that our voices don't matter, our votes don't matter. That is a lie. I want to tell you that. In my neighborhood right now, if you're speeding through my neighborhood, if there's loud music, I can get three of my neighbors, and say we have an issue with this loud music, or we have an issue with the speeding. If we go before city council, you know that we can get an ordinance passed. That's how policy and procedure works. Every time something affects one of them, there's a new ordinance that's going to govern how we show up. But we're not aware of that. We want to constantly use our physical strength. No, we have to understand policy and procedure.
Right. And the same policy and procedures that they've put in place, we've got to use that policy and procedure so that we can get laws passed for ourselves.
And to guarantee our existence.
Yes. And they have to abide by it because it's their policy and procedure. That's how we have to learn to fight. We have to learn to fight differently.
Comments.
Yeah.
Some comments.
So Gail Spencer said you're absolutely correct. Who's this? Sage says, hey ladies, just logging in. What's today's topic? Sage, we are talking about this brawl in Alabama, girl. That's what we're talking about today, and talking about how we need to band together differently. We know how to fight when it comes to our hands, but we need to learn how to fight where it comes to policy and procedure. Because if you know anything, that is how they fight. They fight with policy and procedure. They can't beat us up physically. No, they can't. We know how to do that. We know how to do that. We know how to make that happen. But they go with policy and procedure, black and white, what's written down. And so we have to learn as an African-American community, LGBTQIA plus community, the non-binary community, we have to learn how to fight with their policy and procedure.
And it starts with getting registered to vote.
Yeah. Because your vote, I don't know. So I've said that over the weeks, like doing Twoc Talk Thursday. And for some reason, somebody has told us somewhere that our vote doesn't matter. And it does. It matters so much that we are in the state that we're living in now. All of the things that are taking place are because we don't go out and vote. We've got to vote, people. We've got to vote.
But we were just in downtown Montgomery for a rally.
Yes, Jasmine says, basically fight fire with fire, meaning let's come together and go vote.
Yeah, absolutely. Mm-hmm. If you're not registered to vote, connect to us at the Healing Project. If you're trans and you're afraid of showing up to the voting polls because your IDs or your identification doesn't match who you are and how you navigate and show up in society, reach out to us. www.twchealingproject.org is our website. And if you want to email me, it's TOI at twchealingproject.org.
And if you want to email me, and you will get us directly from our email, no one else will answer it. If you want to email me, you can email me at Raquel, that's RAHKELH at TWOC healingproject.org.
Because we do have programs set in place to eliminate those barriers. We have ID clinics and passport clinics and things of that nature so we can navigate successfully and be represented as who we are. It's vital that we do that in this climate.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. She says, absolutely. Educate us, ladies.
Absolutely.
That's why we're
And
here.
so-
That's why we're here every Thursday. We're here to educate. We're here to bring awareness. We're here to bring to light the information that we need to know that's going on in our world that affects us and our everyday living. And so from right here, we're going to move right into our Did You Know segment. And our ED is going to go ahead and do the Did You Know segment. And here is Did You Know with our ED.
Well, it's not even a Did You Know.
It is a Did You Know because the people don't know that. A lot of people don't know that. And to be honest, our whole segments are always Did You Know.
Yeah. So I didn't think it would be Did You Know because we're talking about trans injustice, right? So Oklahoma City governor on Tuesday directed state agency to use narrow definitions of female and male. And the latest attack in transgender rights in a state that already has laws targeting transgenders' bathroom use, healthcare, and sports team for transgender folks. The governor signed an executive order flanked by women from the anti-trans group Independent Women's Voice, including the problematic swimmer Riley Gaines, who lost the race. It just so happens that I don't even think she lost the race. Did she lose the race to Leah? I don't know. But anyway, Riley Gaines, a former University of Kentucky swimmer, for criticizing NCAA decision following transgender swimmer Leah Thomas to compete against her in a women's championship race. So ever since that particular race, Caitlyn Jenner, and she's leading that too. So Caitlyn Jenner created a whole campaign that's geared toward combating cis transgender women from competing in women's sports.
Really?
Oh yeah, girl, it's ridiculous. On her first day of launching that, I think
the same Caitlyn Jenner that wanted us to accept her into our community when she transitioned.
Same Caitlyn Jenner that was running for governor of California went nowhere. So on that first day of her unleashing that website, I think she had like 1 million views of supporters, and she's raising funds.
And she's
Caitlyn Jenner.
Yeah, she's
the same Caitlyn Jenner that had a problem with Dylan McAfee.
I know, but she's trans.
So she didn't
put this together against us, against herself.
And so Leah is the trans swimmer. You probably have seen her on the news in the past, but Leah is a trans swimmer who probably won 2 races out of the 100. I'm exaggerating numbers at this point, but Leah didn't have a successful record as a swimmer when it came to competing against cisgendered men or women, right? It just so happened that this one particular time, or she found herself being able to win a race. And that particular race, I'm not even sure if Riley was in their race. But ever since then, Riley has been on a crusade trying to get other folk engaged and trying to stop cisgendered women, transgender women from competing against cisgender women in sports. And so Riley and the governor says, today we're taking a stand against this out of control gender ideology that's eroding the very foundation of society. The governor said, we're going to be safeguarding the very essence of what it means to be a woman. He
said that we're going to be safeguarding the essence of what it means to be a woman. Listen to the rest of this. You got to hear this.
Oklahomans are fed up with the attempts to confuse the word woman and turn it into some kind of ambiguous definition that harms real women. Ambiguous. Yeah. Definition that harms real women. In addition to requiring state agencies and boards to define the word female and male to correspond with the person's sex assigned at birth, the executive order also included definitions for the word man, boy, woman, girl, father, and mother. The order specifically defines a female as a person whose biological reproductive system is designed to produce ova, and a male as a person whose biological reproductive system is designed to fertilize the ova of a female. It also directs schools and other state agencies to use these definitions when collecting vital statistics, and further directs schools to provide dedicated restrooms and locker room facilities for boys and girls respectively. Still order, dubbed the Women's Bill of Rights by its supporters, is the latest Oklahoma policy to attack the rights of transgender people and is a part of a growing trend in conservative states. Still signed a bill earlier this year that made it a crime for healthcare workers to provide gender-affirming medical care for minors, and previously signed measures to prohibit transgender girls and women from playing on female sports teams, as I mentioned earlier, and prevent transgender children from using school bathrooms that correspond to their gender identity.
So now they're defining what a woman is. And if you don't, if you're not
assigned that birth,
because if you're not that definition,
and if you're fortunate enough to get your birth certificate to change as a transgender woman, they want your blood so they can test your blood, so they want to know your levels and be able to see from that point on your system and your ovaries and your reproductive system and all of those.
This is the world that we're living in, and it's not just happening in Oklahoma. This is the world that we're living in.
But that also affects my constitutional right, because anything that I deal with medically, I don't have to disclose.
Right.
So you're forcing me to disclose now.
If you want to be respected. And they're asking you to disclose so they can disrespect you.
To them. Yes. Non-medical providers.
Absolutely. Yes. They get non-medical providers get to say whether we're women or not.
Yes. But that's something that I only have to disclose at my choosing. I don't have to disclose anything about my medical status to anyone unless I choose to. So you're demanding that I do that now in the state of Oklahoma? That's an executive order. That's signed by the governor. The only way that can now be taken off the books is from the Supreme Court. Yeah. We got to vote, people. Supreme Court is going to be the Supreme Court docket is going to be full, and 90% of those cases are going to be about TGNC, trans folks, queer folk, Black folk.
And at the end of the day, Jasmine, yes, this is crazy, and they basically want to control. That's what it is, another control tactic to control us. Yes. Okay. Yeah. And as you can see, it works us up. We've got to vote. We've got to.
There's so many things that I want to say in particular. I want to go back to the incident about the brawl first.
Okay.
Because I want us to understand the social political climate that we live in here in the Jim Crow South. If any of you that are viewing or watching this live in Alabama, Texas, Florida, Louisiana, Georgia, we're in what you call stand your ground law states. How many of you know what stand your ground is?
Yes, Lord, we need this message. How many of you, so we're asking a question, how many of you know what stand your ground, that law? How many of you know what that law is?
Stand your ground is something that was strategically put in place to erase the lives of Black and brown folk, primarily Black and brown men. So stand your ground law was put into play because and if you're in Florida, you definitely know what I'm talking about, because we have lost so many Black and brown men and women to stand your ground. Stand your ground is a law that says that you have the right to bear arms and defend yourself against anyone that you feel threatened by, or anyone that threatens your safety or your existence. And what we have seen now is that it historically affects Black and brown folk. There was a woman in Florida that was actually attacked or felt violent, and she protected herself. But the stand your ground law didn't work for her.
Sure, she had to be Black, right?
Yeah, she was Black.
Yeah,
but the person threatened her. They came into her house and she shot at them, and she had to go to jail. But there was a white man that shot the Black man in Florida
for noise, for music.
But that was in Louisiana.
Wow.
And so what the stand your ground law says is that if I have a conversation with you, or if I say something to you that you may be uncomfortable with or you don't like, your alibi can be my very existence or my tone or me showing up being a black trans woman or being a black bold curvy trans woman made you feel threatened some kind of way. And because I made you feel threatened, you pulled out your weapon and you decide to use your weapon against me.
And you get to get away with it.
If I'm dead and I don't have the ability to advocate and give my side of the story, you have to take your word for it. And unfortunately, my dead black trans body laying on the ground has to now be justified, and the worth of my merit, my contributions, and my words have to now be decided by a jury of people that were not present, that don't know what took place with that, but they just have to go by this person's word against mine.
Absolutely. And it's not going to be a jury of your peers.
It's not going to be a jury of my peers. No. Because you're only people that's registered to vote get to be picked for jury duty. So see how, once again, civic
engagement back to it.
Comes back up. Yes. There have been incidents where black men, and I know it's a such thing called keeping it real, y'all. Our black men is sexy when we see our black men's in the tank tops and tatted up and things of that nature. But the climate that we're living in right now, if that man shows up and if somebody, or a white man, it can be a white man or a black man, tells him something that may be uncomfortable, or they may have an exchange, how he's showing up and quote unquote keeping it real can be justified to his life being taken.
Absolutely.
Because he will fit a statistic.
Yeah. And
him showing up just being himself is fitting a statistic. And if a person now used their weapon and they harm this person because of how he showed his dead body, deceased body on the ground, tatted up, wife beater, sagging, braided, locked, however they want to say it, that's stereotypical to them. His body on the ground is all the justification they need because he fits the profile of a thug, of a murderer, of this thing that we all are part of a system of black folk. They feel as though we all are part of this system as a certain stereotype that we navigate with. And if you meet that stereotype and something happens to you, all the justification they need is your body on the ground and the testimony of that person that killed you. If you have enough money to fight a case, they may pull the cameras. Or if you're fortunate enough to have somebody around you that can articulate or verbalize that altercation that took place, you may have some witnesses. Absolutely. But other than that, there will be none. Is that person word against yours?
And again, it goes back to the voting.
It goes back to
the voting, because if you're not registered to vote, then you won't be the one on the jury, in the jury box.
Stand your ground, people. Educate yourself on the states in which you live in. Louisiana, Florida, Texas, Alabama, Georgia are stand your ground states. We also have a right to carry state in Georgia. That right to carry, if you don't understand the right to carry, even though anyone, ex-felons can go and buy a gun, you won't go to jail for buying the gun. But if you get stopped for a traffic stop, you as an ex-felon, you should not have a gun. So you're going to go to jail for possession of that gun. You can have you don't need to have a license to carry one, but if you're an ex-felon, you can go to jail for illegally having one.
And we voted for it.
And we voted for it in the state of Georgia. That was the appealing thing that the governor representing right now, sitting in the seat, that's what he did to win over black men. And they're not understanding how they signed their demise.
Because he was setting them up.
And also, they didn't want to have a black woman. They didn't want to answer to a black woman. When I thought Stacey Abrams was more than reputable to be the governor of the state of Georgia. But that gun piece was so appealing to so many men and women. And that's how he was able to get in that gun piece.
So the piece for me is just real simple. So we're good enough to come from a woman, and a woman raise us and teach us how to live and so on and so on, but they can't be in office.
But they don't even want to take directives from a woman. How many husbands listen to their wives?
Yeah. They'd be better off if they did, though.
And at the end of the day, there's no way possible that we shouldn't see more female representation because more women vote than men. So why is there not more women in office? Because the women vote according to what their husbands and their mates say.
Absolutely.
Stacey was advocating for women's right and autonomy to be able to make decisions with their body that they needed to make. While a lot of women agreed with her, they didn't go out and vote because their husbands said, let's vote for Governor Nathan. What's his name? Is that his name?
Girl.
I was going to say Nathan Deal. I'm sorry, y'all.
It's no Governor Purdue.
No, girl, it ain't him.
What's the governor's name? What's the governor's name? Help us, y'all.
I'm having a brain freeze.
Y'all will definitely go to jail. Y'all will definitely go to jail and not have a bond. You hear what Malik said?
Absolutely.
They'll definitely go to jail and won't have a bond.
Malik,
what's the governor's name, sir? Who's the governor? It's Governor Kemp. Is it Kemp?
Yeah, Kemp. Brian Kemp.
Sorry, there y'all. You go. Yeah.
I was having a brain. I'm sorry, y'all. See, I don't like to get on here often because I get fed up around certain topics. You know. But yeah. Governor Brian Kemp. Yeah, they went out and came. They showed up for him in large numbers, and it was so like, when I heard that he was winning, I was like, okay, well, maybe it's something that can be contested in a way. But no, he won by a landslide. It was disheartening for me to watch that, knowing all of the work that Stacey and her camp and her intentionality around our lives and equity and equality. That we didn't even have people that showed up for her to even say, hey, I appreciate what you have done. He won by a landslide.
And that's because we've been tricked into believing that our vote doesn't work, that our vote doesn't count. We've been tricked into believing that. And people, we've got to vote. It does count. It does. Our votes count. We've got to get out and do it.
Girl, I like that. We got more minutes.
Someone, Just Janaya, she said, hey to my favorite CDs. Hey, Daisy, thank you for being here. We love you. We appreciate you. We got some more people that came in. Wendy Cooper.
Hey, sister.
How are you, lady? Malik showed up. He supports us all the time. Thank you, babe. Cameron, the birthday boy.
Happy birthday.
Yes, happy birthday. And thank you for our poems. Now, mind you, I want you to know they're going in our archives as our first 2 poems for the Twoc Healing Project.
Absolutely.
Yes. That was Wendy said, hey, sister. Yeah, that was it. So we have had a day today.
Any announcements?
Do we have any announcements? No, we don't have any announcements.
Don't you have something coming up? The red carpet?
Yes. Oh my. Don't kill me. This conversation has gotten me so.
We got to share
this conversation. Yes.
We can't be in our feelings. We got work to do.
So listen, on August the 30th, right here in Atlanta at the Essence Event Center, Trans World Atlanta. I'm talking about trans women because I'm talking about us. Trans World Atlanta. We are having our screening. We will finally be on the screen for you to see. So guess what? Get your tickets right now, right? You can go to my page, Raquel Henry on Facebook, and go to the Eventbrite and get your tickets. They're just $20 right now, right? Red carpet, get to put on your good garments and take pictures and be lovely and have a great time. All of the things are the things. Please come out and support us. Trans World Atlanta, our screening. Finally, our screening. And you should be there because it is us telling our stories for us and by us, right? Who can better tell our life stories than we can?
And if y'all have any topics that y'all would like for us to discuss, or if you want more information or want some light show,
yes, please send that.
Send them over. You can send them at info@twchealingproject.org, or you can send them to toy@twchealingproject.org,
or you can send it at Raquel. That's RAHKEL. @TWOC Healing Project. And when she said toy, that's TOI.
Absolutely.
Yes.
T with an I, not with a Y.
Yes. So please get up off your seat of do nothing and vote. Voting time is approaching.
Yeah. So we'll be gearing up our Lift Our Voices to Vote campaign because National Voters Registration Day is coming up in September. So we want to give you more information as that time approaches. And once again, for those folks in community that have barriers to registering to vote, or if you want to know if you're registered, or how can you get registered, or if you want to know if you're eligible to be a registered voter, please reach out to us. That's why we're here.
Yes. Hey, Samantha, your cousin just came in. Hey, daughter.
Mother DeSoto. So yeah, that's it for us. Thank you all for showing up and just being consistent and bearing with us as we grow.
Did you call her Mother DeSoto? Mother Dato. Yes.
She told me that the last time. Girl, you know I'm from New Orleans, so you know that S was silent, sister. The S spoke words to me, and I just didn't put it in. And it's Dato, not the Soto. She told me that. D-A-T-O. She told me that in New Jersey.
Did she? Oh, yeah. When you went, yeah.
And I just keep putting the S in there.
Daughter, she wants your name to be DeSoto. Let me know any way I can support from Texas. Love you all. Absolutely. That's Pocahontas.
Of course, sister. We'll be there soon. So hopefully we'll see some of you at USCHA conference and convening. We'll be doing a workshop. Woohoo! So if you're there at the World AIDS Conference in DC, United States HIV and AIDS Conference and convening, September the 5th through the 9th, we hopefully we'll see you all there.
Just looking forward to it. So we pray that everyone has a great evening. And remember, we here at the Twoc Healing Project want to do our very best to help you get the tools that you need so that you can live a healthy, healed, and whole life.
Ashe.
Ashe and amen. Everyone have a
great evening.
See ya. We love you. Thank you all for your support.
Bonsoir.
Yes. What Malik say? Nah, you messed up. Someone know I messed up for please. But that's
au revoir.
Have a good evening, everybody. We love you guys. Until next week, Twoc Talk Thursdays. Bye-bye.